Well, hello, I'm Mike Festiva. Welcome back. 2 years ago, when I was first buying my budget Chinese mini excavator, there was a lot of doubters out there, a lot of people that thought I was completely making a mistake. So after the last 24 months of clearing land, digging holes, trenching utilities, hauling rocks, moving logs into my sawmill, and even building a shed with it, I definitely got a definitive answer. Today we're going to look back at how these machines held up DIY work around my property over the last 2 years. Enjoy the video. I can already hear some of you say, whoa, you got a yellow machine and a blue machine here, what's the deal? I can simply explain it. 2 years ago, when I jumped down this rabbit hole to do some research on these Chinese excavators, I bought the little yellow one. It's a Rippa R1319, sold for about $6,000, had a hydraulic thumb, really simple. I enjoyed it, put about 50 hours on my property, used it for about a year, but decided it had one feature I really wish I would have bought on it, and that was an expandable undercarriage. I got rid of that yellow machine to my buddy. He's got about 200 hours on it. We will do a full review on that thing in the near future. I end up getting the blue Rippa R13, and that's a bigger 1.3 ton machine with the diesel Kubota engine in it, expandable undercarriage tracks, and a bunch of bells and whistles. So that's the take on that. That's why I have two different machines. In this video, you're going to see the little tiny 1-ton machine and the 1.3-ton machine. One's a gas, one's a diesel. You'll get a better understanding what these machines are capable of. So the biggest value isn't always just the entry price in these Chinese mini excavators, especially if you pick up a decent, well-built one like my Rippa here. The thing is, I've been through the gamut with gray market machines. You can either buy a brand new Rippa R13 or R15, something like that, decent quality for, $12,000 to $14,000, or you can run the gamut on a gray market machine that's still going to be hard to find parts for, Kubota, Yanmar, or Komatsu. They're going to be 20 to 30 years old. And by the time you get a machine like that, you're actually getting someone else's problems. It's worn ragged and it's falling apart. I've been through that with my gray market Yanmar in the past. The first repair came up on my Yanmar probably 5 hours into it, and it was a $2,500 drive motor. Since then, I've had to rebuild cylinders and replace hoses. I have probably just as much money in repairs than I did in my first R319 mini excavator, brand new. Speaking of being brand new, it's nice to get a machine with 0 hours on it. Every hour put on that machine is from you. You're the one operating it. You're the one putting the hours on it. You know how to take good care of it because it's yours. And you know what? Spending more time with the machine with low hours means more times actually getting projects done without it breaking down. That's pretty valuable. In the last 2 years, I found another real value that these machines have, and that comes down to the attachments, the universal attachments. From just under 1 ton up to 1.5 ton, they all run a 25 millimeter pin, which these attachments are so valuable and so affordable. You can buy them from anywhere from Amazon and eBay, and they're just so universal that you can get trenching buckets, hydraulic tilting buckets, you can get augers for these things, you can get all kinds of different rock screening buckets. I mean, the endless supply of different attachments you can get for these machines. And when you start applying these different attachments that are very affordable for these machines, they become a Swiss Army knife for your property. Extremely useful. And they also save you a bunch of time, and that's a pretty damn valuable currency when you have a full-time job and a property to maintain. So, these things offer a tremendous value to the DIYer and homeowner. So if you want to learn more about all these attachments, I did a really deep dive, full-length video running from the worst attachment to my absolute favorite attachment. We're going to break down what I like to use them for and just the value they offer, so it can save you a lot of money. I'll put a link below to that video because there's some attachments for these things that are fantastic and some, probably wouldn't buy again. So definitely check out that video in the description below. So, are they perfect machines? No, not perfect. Are they built to the same quality as a Japanese or US built machine? Not by any means. Do you get the jobs done you set out for? Pretty much. I have no regrets with these machines. I've done a lot of work. I've taken them out to a little remote piece of property, cleared trails into them, brought in gravel, taken them to friends' houses, cleared a bunch of trails for them so they could get some trees to drop some problem trees. They're super versatile. You can get them loaded up in the back of a truck easy. I really like that. My big Yanmar, you have to load it into an equipment trailer or a car trailer just to move it around. So the versatility of these things being compact, if you got a 3/4 ton or 1 ton truck, you can get them in the back or a small equipment trailer. They work really well. They work for my needs. And, even the old R13, it might not be complete commercial quality, but I think it's semi-commercial. Like if you had a small landscaping business, I think you could utilize that. And honestly, even the little yellow machine that is just a homeowner unit, back in the day when I did landscaping, if I would have had a machine like this, it would have been a complete game changer for me, especially something I can move in the back of the truck. Start small, you got to start somewhere. And I think as long as you take care of the machines, keep them lubed up, all the fittings greased, make sure the oil's changed on them, don't abuse them, I think they're going to actually last quite a long time. So think about all the projects you put off because you don't want to hurt your back. For me, I screwed up my back when I was young, got hit by a drunk driver and broke my back when I was young. So my back has been fragile. I've done a lot of work, shovel work, manual work, hauling wheelbarrows. I'm done with that. It's time to save my body for things I like enjoying more, like hiking in the mountains and things like that. So when you consider renting, a lot of people suggest that too. I don't want to spend $500 on a weekend. The closest rental place is about 45 minutes each way from me. Spend $500 on the weekend. Yeah, if you got all your projects planned out, you can do that. But the beauty of these machines is the 15-minute projects here and there, and loading something out of your truck or moving something heavy or loading a log onto the mill. Firewood, that's an ongoing processing thing I'm doing year round, so it always helps be able to lift the log off the ground, cut it with the machine, load the big log rounds onto the log splitter. Super useful. I mean, these machines, if you got utility work, you want to trench some water to the garden, get a ditching bucket for $100, slap it on there, spend a few hours ditching out. I did that this summer. I finally have water to my garden. I've wanted water out there for 15 years. Never had it until this last summer. A few $100 in line, $100 in trenching bucket with one of these machines, and you're good to go. So 2 years later, do I regret buying a Chinese mini excavator? Not for a second. Do I regret buying that Japanese-built gray market machine? Kinda, but live and learn. Anyhow, these little Chinese machines have been excellent. They're not perfect. Sometimes you got to turn a wrench, tighten something, do a few things. But honestly, I've had very little repairs, maybe just a little bit of maintenance, changing the oil, checking your hydraulic fluid, maybe tightening down a hose here and there, tension the tracks, but it's all been pretty simple. They've been very reliable for what they are. They're not commercial built machines. They're DIY, working on the projects on the weekend kind of stuff. My one Rippa R13, I got about 55 hours on it. My friend's got the little yellow R319, and he's pushing 200 hours on that machine. We're going to do a review on that thing, a follow-up 200-hour review. But it's been pretty trouble-free, and he's done a ton of work with that machine. So that's my take on it. If you want to learn more about these machines, I got a review. I'll put a link below for my deep dive into it for my R319. And I got another video on my R13. And I got a bunch of videos on the Chinese skid steers as well. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Till next time. Bye.